All right, good morning, folks. It's a Sunday session, and we're going to be talking about the fact that the real estate reset has begun, how we can position ourselves for this opportunity. And if you guys want to talk with me on a more intimate level about the deals that you're looking at, about how I'm positioning myself for the real estate asset class, I don't really try to talk about it too much publicly, but I do share all of that with the Discord community over there. If you guys are looking to get access, you just head to my website, zachrector.com. Now, with that being said, let's get right on into it. Now, you didn't think I was going to give you a video update here without going through the cryptocurrency prices first. Quickly, 29,000 for Bitcoin, 1827 for Ethereum, and XRP is at 62.69. So just under 63 cents for XRP. Bitcoin moving sideways at 29,000. Market's not really doing much, which gives us a prime opportunity here to talk about some real estate. Let's get right on into it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Starting off here with the Kobesi letter, let's take a look. So the median house payment, I skipped one. We're going to talk about the key events this week first. We get the July CPI lie inflation data on Thursday, jobless claims Thursday, July PPI Friday, consumer sentiment Friday, and total of 3 Fed speakers this week, along with about 15% of the S&P 500 companies reporting earnings. Another busy week ahead, absolutely. And we know how that inflation data is going to come back to the Fed's decision on whether or not to continue raising rates. And with where we're at right now, the median house payment in the U.S. is now at $2,605 per month. So $2,600 per month is your median house payment here in the United States. This is up 19% compared to 2022 and the most expensive median payment of all time. Even more worrisome, the median house payment is now up a massive 67% from 2021 and 79% from 2020. Buying a home has become a luxury. So you can see this chart really puts it into perspective here. All the way up here, 2023 being this top orange line, 2,600 per month, 2022, 2021, and 2020 down here. The real estate reset is here, folks. Average 30-year mortgage has now just hit 7.32%, its highest since 2000. So you compare prices with, where we were at in 2000 compared to 2023, and you start to begin to understand why this is the least affordable housing market we've ever had, right? Back in 2000, you could buy a starter home for $200,000. Now a starter home is going to cost you twice that, if not more, depending on what area you live in. But what's interesting to see here is with the supply falling behind, we do have demand dropping off because of these mortgage rates, but we also have a lack of supply in some areas. But regardless of that dynamic, we are starting to see home prices going down again. Median list price declined by 1.1% in July of 2023, matching the decline that occurred at the start of the downturn last year. Prices will likely keep dropping in the second half of 2023, given rock bottom buyer demand. And, what's interesting is it's not that folks don't want to move, that folks don't want to buy. I want to buy. It is incredibly frustrating right now as a first-time home buyer looking at this market and trying to step and dip your toes into the real estate asset class. And you wonder if you're selling your life away, you're selling your soul to this mortgage, this 30-year promise to, you're going to sign on and buy a starter home for $500,000. After your interest and all your expenses, you end up paying $1.2 million on the life of that house, on the life of that loan. Now, I do believe that the dollar is being devalued, but is it being devalued enough to wipe out that and offset that payment? Now, so what we're watching right now is the listings have declined by 5.6% month over month in July. New listings here in the United States. New listings are down 20% on a year-over-year basis, and new listings in July 2023, 374,000, are 27% below July 2019 levels of 513,000. So we have way less homes on the market, yet we still have home prices going down, and this is because folks just can't cut it. Even if somebody wants to move, we all have a dream, whether that's the American dream or whatever reality we're trying to cook up here. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard check to cut when your median U.S. home payment now is $2,600 per month. And with all of these listings coming online, it still is nowhere compared to where we are at historically, nowhere near where we're at compared to last year, and nowhere near, it's about half, not quite half, but in July of 2023, we're at 374,000 new listings. In July of 2019, we were at 513,000. So way more listings. And now with this dynamic here, there is a lack of quality homes that are on the market and available for families to purchase. And the ones that are on the market are just not affordable. Folks just can't make it happen. But what we're seeing right now is that builders are seeing this. Sorry, folks, I'm missing a few words here and there, only on my first cup of coffee. So we're just getting rolling for the morning. I apologize. But what we see right now is that the land market is on fire again, per 55% of the 78 land brokers we just surveyed. So this is from John Burns Consulting. This is the hottest the market has been in 15 months and comparable to the market strength from 2018 through the early 2020 as shown below. Now, what does this mean? Well, this means that there's going to be new supply coming online. The builders are going to be trying to catch up with this demand, but the builders are already having to take price cuts, offer more incentives to get the properties that they have listed sold. But apparently they still see some opportunity. And so we see that the land deals are still on fire right now. We're going to have to be watching this closely. Now, where is the true death taking place in the real estate reset? It's the commercial real estate, and primarily office buildings, but other commercial properties as well. And they are saying right now that commercial real estate values will crater as much as 40% in San Francisco, Chicago, New York City, Los Angeles, Boston, and Washington, D.C., Capital Economics said. That is brutal. Now, we're already seeing it. I mean, you guys are seeing the stories about buildings that are on sale, 60, 70% on sale. And so this has already began, and it's only going to get worse for the commercial real estate. But for us, it's an opportunity to do commercial conversion is the term that I've come up with, where we're converting these commercial properties into another use case, into apartments. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for that, but there's also a lot of risk. I mean, you're buying a falling knife, and you better have a plan for that property going forward to renovate it, to reuse it in some other form or fashion. Now, with that being said, we continue on here and we get an example here of what I was talking about with the builders offering more incentives to get the houses sold. This is from Rick Palacios. Good example on earnings call yesterday of top 10 home builders shrinking square footage to lower prices and offset higher mortgage squeeze. LGI Home CEO, quote, percentage of closings coming from homes smaller than 1,500 square feet went from 19% in Q2 2022 to 27% in Q2 2023. So they are selling more smaller homes as well. And I'm seeing that in my area as well. They're churning out these just below 1,500 square feet, and they're about 500,000. 500 to 550, 1,500 square feet, cookie cutter, and don't push on it too hard. It might fall over. And that's what they're doing. And now they've been holding out like heck. I tell you what, they've been putting signs. I've been going through the developments in my area, and they put sold signs on the houses, and then I still see them empty months later. So something doesn't quite add up, right? I feel like I'm in the Big Short movie where they're going through these neighborhoods, and you're like, wait, what's going on here, right? And so, we're already seeing it in my area. You guys will see it in yours, and in other areas even more so, because in my area, we don't have too much of the national home builders in my local area, but I've been looking, across my state and in other cities as well, where you're seeing D.R. Horton and some of these other big national ones are offering all sorts of incentives, all sorts of programs. And then the next thing that we're seeing them do is they're just building smaller homes. Right, which 1,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, that's a perfect little starter home. But for $500,000 at a 7% mortgage rate, where you're paying $3,500 a month, most folks can't swing it. And what's interesting in these markets too is when you can rent that same house for $2,800. Why would you buy it and pay $3,500, $4,000 a month? So that's the situation right now with these new home builders starting to offer these incentives and get buyers into these houses without dropping prices. You would see a more dramatic decline in prices if it went for all the new homes that are being sold right now at these prices, but a lot of incentives are added. Now, final point here. we're looking at the Airbnb bust. And this is what they were saying before. It's the most overheated market I've ever seen. Then her bookings began to drop at its peak. Her townhouse was bringing in $10,400 a month in 2017. In April 2023, bookings totaled just $2,000. Now, talk about Airbnb bust, from over 10 grand a month on her townhouse down to $2,000 per month. So you're getting even less than what you probably would on a long-term rental, a year lease. And so this is a story from Business Insider about a 70-year-old Phoenix real estate agent explains why she converted her 4 Airbnbs to long-term rentals. Now, this brings me into the opportunities that we can look for when we're looking to move into this asset class in 2023. We're starting to see the reset has begun, and it's finally being reflected in prices dropping 1.1%. But this was the same as last year, where we've gone through the peak selling season. Now through the rest of the year, we're going to be coming back down. And so this is our opportunity to leverage that. And if we get a broader recession and the economy's having its struggles, they'll never admit that on mainstream, by the way. Our Bidenomics should have everyone feeling fantastic. But when we get down to Main Street, when we get down to the family household level, that more pain that comes our way, we're going to have even more motivated sellers. So here's what I'm looking for. Very simply put, here's the bullet points for buying real estate in 2023 for me. First off, it's got to be a business-friendly area. We need jobs and an economy that's thriving in your area. Whether you want to live there or you want to invest there, you got to have a strong economy. It's the basic fundamentals for any good real estate market. And so you're seeing some of these other markets, primarily some of these cities, where the commercial buildings are being left vacant, empty for, years now, or they're having to, sell 60, 70% discounts because nobody wants to invest in these cities that have become unsafe for families, and they also aren't business friendly. Part of the taxes that you're paying is for scooping the poop down below. Who wants to invest in that city? You know what I'm saying? And so it has to be a business-friendly climate, business-friendly state, city. And then we're looking at Airbnb cities that are, and Airbnb neighborhoods that weren't meant to be Airbnb neighborhoods. A prime example is Dallas. So Dallas City Council just banned Airbnb throughout their city. You could potentially see thousands of properties come online because for many of these investors, like that lady from Phoenix that I just showed you, her property still pencils out with a long-term tenant in there. Now, it's not the $10,000 per month that she was making, but she can get probably $2,000, $2,500, maybe $3,000 a month for her townhouse, and it still pencils out. But for many of these Airbnb guys and gals, it doesn't pencil out with a long-term tenant. And even if they still are making some money, imagine going from making $10,000 a month down to only making a few $100 a month cash flow. That's not exciting. How do you sell your Airbnb course and flex on the gram when you're only making a few $100 a month on your property versus making 10 grand a month on the property and you got your Airbnb course and you renting the whips and renting the girlfriends? The party's over. So these Airbnb cities where, whether the city council's banning it, whether they are implementing license and registration for the Airbnbs, you're seeing that in Scottsdale. I was looking at Scottsdale yesterday in the Phoenix metro area, and I saw all these properties for rent in Scottsdale that looked badass. $3-4 grand a month. But the pictures looked like they were pictures for an Airbnb listing. I can't tell you how many of them I saw with the pool in the back with the unicorn floaty, It's like these are the same pictures that they use for the Airbnb listing, but now they're doing a long-term rental. And I heard that Scottsdale really got strict with their licensing and with their rules for Airbnb after the Super Bowl was just there. What was that, last year? So, cities like that. I also heard that Philadelphia, they've implemented some licensing procedures for Airbnbers in their city as well. And then, so one key distinction though to make is that if you're looking at a vacation city or a vacation spot, a beach town where tourism is a big deal, they're not going to ban Airbnbs there. The Airbnbs will still be a thing there. Now, maybe they're oversaturated. You're not going to be able to make as much as an Airbnb investor, But that doesn't mean that we're going to see a bunch of properties come online because that city council is going to ban Airbnb. Most likely not going to be the case. But when you go and you look at cities like Dallas banning it, I mean, that's a big deal. Dallas, a market that already has quite a few listings that have come online here recently. And then when you look at that dynamic as well, there could be even more. And you have the most amount of construction taking place in Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth metro as well. I had the pleasure of driving around Dallas-Fort Worth metro area just a month ago when I was in Dallas for our Discord meetup. And so I got to go actually drive around and drive these neighborhoods and see the dynamics there. Great little setup. So business-friendly climate, we're looking at Airbnb Bust cities that are banning it, cities that just aren't friendly to it. And then the other thing that we're looking for is builder bargains. So as I was saying, more incentives, more rate buy downs, that's an incredible opportunity to get one of these builders to, buy down your rate for the life of the loan. Instead of paying 7% mortgage rate, you paying 6 or even 5% mortgage. That could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally. And there are some builders that are offering lifetime rate buy downs right now. Incredible opportunity. And then my final point is that sellers have been motivated by greed up until now, but now they will be motivated by desperation. And I'm talking about, the folks that are just trying to sell their houses at 2022 peak prices, or they want to cash out. And I say greed, but you have folks that, they need more money for their retirement. Whatever the situation may be, right? Folks sell their properties for a bunch of reasons, but they weren't desperate. See, this is the only moving piece really in this scenario for the way that we do deals is finding motivated sellers. Whether we're buying businesses or we're buying real estate, the number one thing that you need is a motivated seller. Now, we've had motivated sellers in real estate, and they've been motivated by the high prices, by trying to cash out fat. Now, God bless them. If they can get 2022 peak prices, God bless you. I'm happy for you. But many of these are going to be moved to desperation because when they see the 401k take another hit this year, when they lose their job, when bad things happen to good people every single day, folks are going to get desperate. And so they're going to be motivated out of desperation. It's like my mentor says, Dan Pena says, you either come to me off of inspiration or desperation, and I don't see an inspirated MFer right here. That's what he always says at his seminars. And that's, kind of the situation right here is that folks, have been trying to cash out. Now it's going to be desperation. And I don't, I'm making a joke out of it, but it's not a laughing matter, right? I understand this is a very serious deal here. The American dream is not what it used to be. And for many folks, this is how they built wealth. And so I get it. And you got a lot of emotion tied up in a house that you've lived in for 10, 20, 30 years. There's your whole blood, sweat, and tears went into that house and a lot of money that you worked hard for. And so I get why folks are trying to hold on to those peak prices and they're being so hesitant. Now, what I'm seeing in my area a lot of is they're throwing out a number that makes me laugh, but they got to be laughing behind the scenes too and understanding that they're just waiting for that offer to come in below, because I'm seeing a lot of it. They're throwing out these numbers. And then the property closes for $100,000 less, for $200,000 less than what that initial ask price was. So I think some of them are still throwing out 2022 peak price for their asking price, and then they're willing to take a lot less too. But for me, business-friendly climates, looking for Airbnb Bust cities. That's an interesting setup. Builder bargains, going to be across the country here. And then we have more motivated sellers that are going to be coming online. So there will be folks that, although they don't want to list, they have to. They lost their job. They have to relocate. Something happened that's forcing them to sell. That is an opportunity for folks that are looking to take advantage of it. And to move into the real estate market here with the idea and the mentality of value add, right? I was talking with my Discord group yesterday in our Discord weekly call about the flipper versus the cash flow investor, and how my plan is to do a little bit of both. I'm going to be flipping some just so that I can build up some more capital, but I'm going to be doing it in a value add way. And there's always room for value add. Now, the deals might not make as much sense or might not have as much margin, but there's always room for value add. And so now that we're going to see the real estate market resetting, for me, it's a perfect opportunity to build out your team, build out your relationships so that you can move into the asset class in a serious way. You're not just another Joe Blow who's trying to buy 1 or 2 rental properties. You're moving in with a serious strategy and plan to value add to these properties, to maybe flip some properties, and to bring value to communities that need it desperately. There is a shortage of quality housing in this country. There are plenty of boxes, there are plenty of structures that you can live in. Is it the place where you want to raise your family? Maybe not. And so that's why I'm saying there is a shortage of quality housing in good neighborhoods for families to live in. And I think that you're going to see a serious opportunity for folks to move in and can, bring that value to the market that desperately needs it. With that being said, folks, I hope you appreciated this real estate update. I think it's an incredible opportunity for all of us, and I love covering this topic because it impacts everybody, whether you're a renter, first-time home buyer, or you're a seasoned investor. Everyone should understand the real estate asset class. They don't teach this stuff in school. They don't teach you the implications of a 30-year mortgage where you're going to be, you think the sticker price is $500,000. Oh, honey, it's only going to cost $3,500 a month. We can make it happen. I'll pick up a second job, which is why the job numbers are so good, by the way, is because everybody's picking up a second and third job. Don't worry, honey, I'll pick up another job. We'll be able to swing it. But you're not realizing that over the 30-year life of that loan, you're paying $1 million. Now, yeah, you're turning over $1 million fiat funny money, and it is being devalued. And so, in real terms, you're paying that back down with cheaper dollars. But still. Many folks are going to trap themselves, I think, or did trap themselves either in golden handcuffs with the 3% mortgage rate, and they're not going to be able to move because they got such a good interest rate on their mortgage, or they're going to be FOMOing in right now, thinking that they can buy now and refinance later. And if that doesn't come through, a lot of folks are going to be forced to get out of that situation or be underwater. So with that being said, folks, it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all bad. It's just we got to be realistic. We got to understand the real estate reality, not just be, it only goes up forever and ever. You can participate in real estate and you will always win. That's been the mantra of the real estate asset class for the last decade. And that was the case during the lowest interest rates in the history of man. Okay, but now we've reset. Now we come back down to reality. Now we're creating a new reality. And for us in our community, I don't want us to lose our wealth that we've already built in the real estate asset class. And for those that are looking to build out more, we're absolutely going to be taking advantage of that. So like I said, I only talk about my deals and what I'm doing on a more intimate level with my Discord community. If you're looking to get tapped in over there, it's my website, zachrector.com. You sign up for Patreon and that gets you access to Discord. With that being said, on the way out, could you guys please smash that thumbs up for me? And oh, by the way, Twitter Space tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Got to get in for the Twitter Space session, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tonight. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you all.